Good evening, everyone. Good evening to staff, commissioners, our audience, and people who are watching us tonight. This is the Cerritos City Council, Cerritos Planning Commission regular meeting. So, first on our agenda is call to order. I now call the City of Cerritos Planning Commission meeting of Wednesday, March 4, 2026 to order. And if everybody would please stand, and I will lead the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of our country. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. Thank you. May we have a roll call, please?
Yes, thank you. Good evening, Commissioners. At this time, I will take roll call. Commissioner Au,
Present.
Commissioner Chauhan,
Present.
Vice Chair Javeri,
Present.
Chair Reyes.
Present.
Noted that Commissioner Surdy at the moment is absent.
May I have a motion from the commission to excuse Commissioner Surtees for this meeting?
Please excuse his absence.
Excuse his absence. And a motion,
I move to excuse Commissioner Surtees for
Today's
his
meeting.
absence.
I'll second.
second. So it has been moved by Commissioner Au and seconded by Chauhan. So may I have a vote, please? Electronically vote? Electronic voting, please.
Yes, at this time, the electronic voting is activated for the motion. And the motion passes to have Commissioner Surtees absent excused. Thank you.
Thank you, commissioners. Next on our agenda is public comments. Public comments. This section is reserved for public comments on consent calendar and items not listed on the agenda but that are within the subject matter jurisdiction of the commission. Verbal comments may be limited to 3 minutes per speaker, subject to the chair extending to a maximum of 5 minutes per speaker, with a total time allotted not to exceed 45 minutes unless the chair extends. So I now open the public comments hearing. Do we have any speakers? Seeing none, I will now close the public comment section. Next on our agenda is the consent calendar, which is on 5A, approval of the minutes. I would like to have a motion for the approval of the Wednesday, February 4th, 2026, 7 p.m. Planning Commission regular meeting minutes.
I make a motion to.
Okay. Motion by Commissioner Javeri,
Second.
second by Commissioner Au. Do you have any questions, discussion, correction? Seeing none, I would like to have electronic voting, please.
Okay, thank you. The electronic voting is now activated for this motion, and the motion passes 4-0. Thank you.
All right. Now we'll move to 6 public hearing and 6A. For item number 6A, it is to review and consideration to waive full reading of and adopt a resolution of the Cerritos Planning Commission approving precise plan 2026-2, a proposal by the residential property owners to construct a first and second floor addition to an existing single-story residence at 11 156 Gonsalves Place, Cerritos, California 90703. The subject property is zoned single family residential. Okay, may I have a staff report, please?
Thank you. Good evening, Chair Reyes and members of the Planning Commission tonight. The first item before you under agenda item number 6A, as mentioned, is a consideration for an approval of a precise plan for a proposal by the property owners to construct a first and second floor addition to an existing single-story residence. Tonight's item under this agenda item 6A, the presentation will be given by Senior Planner Jerry Milo. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Acuna. Good evening, Chair and members of the Cerritos Planning Commission. As mentioned, the property owners of 11156 Gonsalves Place are requesting approval of Precise Plan 2026-2 to construct a 166 square foot addition to the first floor, convert an existing 472 square foot two-car garage into a junior accessory dwelling unit, add a new 546 square foot two-car garage, and add a new 1,411 square foot second floor to an existing single-story residence. Please note that in accordance with state housing law, the public hearing tonight is for the proposed room addition only and does not apply to the proposed junior ADU conversion. The junior ADU will be processed administratively by staff after completion of review of the room addition. For details of this project, I would like to direct your attention to the screen for our presentation. This is an aerial photo of the subject property, which is generally located east of Studebaker Road and south of 195th Street. To the east is Interstate 605. This is an enlarged aerial view that shows the details of the property. The property is bordered on the south, east, and west by single-family residences. The subject property is bordered on the north by Gonsalves Place, across which are also single-family residences. This is a view of the front of the existing single-story home looking south from Gonsalves Place. Staff observed one violation on the property, which will need to be corrected as part of the project. Here we can see that there is no tree in the public parkway, in front of the residence where one is required. This is another view of the front of the existing single-story home looking south from Gonsalves Place. Here you can more clearly see that there is no tree in the public parkway area where one is required. As such, project-specific condition of approval 44 has been added to require a parkway tree to be planted with approval by the city arborist prior to final inspection of the room addition. This is the proposed site plan. As mentioned, the applicants are proposing to add 166 square feet to the first floor, convert the existing 472 square foot two-car garage into a junior accessory dwelling unit, and add a new 546 square foot two-car garage and a 1,411 square foot second floor. As proposed and conditioned, the project will meet all setback and lot coverage requirements of the City of Cerritos. This is an adjacent neighbor plan showing in red the second floor windows of the subject property, as well as a neighboring property to the south. The home to the west of the subject property does not have any second floor windows, while the home to the east is a single-story residence. The home to the south is a two-story residence with two existing second floor windows that do not align with any of the windows of the proposed second floor addition. As such, any potential privacy issues have been mitigated through the designated window placement. This is the proposed first floor plan. The first floor will be expanded and remodeled. When completed, the first floor will include a living room, a kitchen, a pantry, a bedroom with a bathroom, a powder room, a junior accessory dwelling unit with a kitchenette, bedroom, and bathroom, a new two-car garage, and also note that there will be a walled courtyard area in front of the residence. This is the proposed second floor plan. When completed, the second floor will include 2 bedrooms with bathrooms and walk-in closets, a loft, and a laundry room. This is the proposed roof plan showing typical gable roofs as well as 4 skylights. This is the proposed front elevation. Upon completion, the residence will be finished with white colored stucco and will have white colored stucco trims around all windows and doors. Fascia boards will be painted black to match the aluminum window frames. In addition, the front elevation includes decorative stone veneer on both the house and courtyard wall. The elevation on the left shows the house with the courtyard wall and gate in front, and then the section elevation on the right just shows the front entrance beyond the courtyard wall. This is the proposed rear elevation. The residence will feature the same white stucco and black fascia, as well as a 12-inch wide black color stucco band delineating the first story from the second story. This is the east side elevation. The roof will be black colored asphalt shingle, and the decorative stone veneer will wrap around the house. This is the west side elevation, which features the same architectural enhancements found on the other elevations. The architect has prepared a color palette and material board for the Planning Commission's review, which can be seen in front of staff. All exterior colors and materials will be subject to the approval of the Department of Community Development to ensure that these elements complement the entire house and surrounding homes. A notice of a public hearing regarding this item was mailed to owners of property within 500 feet of the subject property on February 20th, 2026, at least 10 days prior to the public hearing this evening as required by the Cerritos Municipal Code. Notices were also posted at the city's 4 designated posting boards on February 20th, 2026. The staff report and all exhibits were posted on the city's website as well. This concludes the PowerPoint presentation. Staff recommends that the Planning Commission approve Precise Plan 2026-2, subject to all conditions of approval contained in the report. The project is categorically exempt from California Environmental Quality Act review, and to date, staff has not received any comments as a result of the public hearing notices. Tonight, the property owner, who is also the designer, is in the audience. At this time, staff is available to answer any questions that the Planning Commission may have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lowe. I now open this hearing for any comments or questions from our commissioners. Commissioner Chauhan?
As it relates to the Parkway tree, doesn't the city usually install a tree in front of the houses?
So it is the responsibility of the property owner to actually maintain the public parkway area in front of the residence, including the tree. That includes any requests to remove any tree. They would need to apply for one. So the city does not install. And when it comes to maintenance and or removal of trees, they can apply to have the city remove it, but there is a long wait list. And so they could do it themselves.
Okay. Well, I was just under the assumption that the city always came, because that's what I've seen in my neighborhood, is that the city comes along, removes the old tree, plants a new tree. So I was just curious as to why this did not happen in this case. But beside that, now we have a joint ADU. Does this unit require its own water, sewer, electrical connections?
No. So a junior ADU is a conversion of existing space within a single-family residence. It's not technically a separate dwelling, so it does not get its own separate address and does not have its own separate utility connections. A full-on accessory dwelling unit would be able to get a separate address and separate utility connections and meters.
Thank you, Commissioner Chauhan. I would like to follow up on the Parkway 3 question. So, Mr. You mentioned that the resident can request the city remove a tree, right?
That is correct.
Okay. So once it's removed, now we asking them to put it back?
Yeah, so any request to remove a tree would also require replanting. For whatever reason, the tree in front of this subject property was removed at some point and not replanted. So it might not have been subject to a permit request. It might have just happened for emergency.
So to clarify the rules or the ordinance is that once you request it to be replaced, to be removed, you have the responsibility to replace it. What's the gap? What's the timeline between removing it and replacing it? Do we check? Do we follow up on the check if they replace the tree that was removed?
Chair Reyes, I can add to Mr. Lowe's answer in regards to the process by the city. So as mentioned, there is a process, an application that should be filed when the property owners would request to remove the tree and replace it. In cases where there are an emergency, we'll allow for it to be removed right away and the replacement of it pending the filing of the application to replace it. But it does need to be replaced and maintained, as mentioned. But city staff, by ordinance, would require the minimum to replace it. There are follow-ups as part of the permitting process.
And that the financial responsibility falls upon the homeowner to request it to be removed
To install it,
for the
correct.
replacement. Yes, okay. Thank you so much. Any more questions, comments? Commissioner Javari.
So as as I understand, based on some of my neighbors, they had a tree in their territory, and that tree, this was back then when city was just new and coming up. The tree was put by the city, and so when the tree started rotting, this resident requested the city to remove that tree. And so because that tree was earlier put by the city had to put a replacement tree. But when the tree has to be planted or to put in by the resident, it is the resident who has to replace that with a tree.
Thank you, Vice Chair Javari. It sounds like in the instance that you were describing at the first half, there were probably the tree was diseased. So the city does have a tree reforestation program for all of this, but it is the responsibility of the homeowner to maintain the tree. And if the homeowner decided, because the city's list for tree removal is quite long, they wanted to take that on themselves, they would put in a request to remove that tree and replant that tree.
Let me add this. The tree originally was planted by the city. And so this resident requested the city to come and remove the tree. And so the city did come and remove the tree. And so the city had to replant another tree.
Correct. You are correct.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Commissioner.
So I have a follow-up question with that. And I'm sorry to go on with these trees, but the thing is, okay, so if a tree dies, then if there's not a tree, would you guys not notice it? Because every time I see my street sweeper come by, there's a nice little vehicle that follows it. How many years has that tree not been there? So do we monitor the trees that are there or not there, dying or in state of dying? How does this work? I mean, I'm curious to why we're finding this right now. I'm saying the owner has to put a tree in, fine, that's not a big deal, and you'll define the...
Thank you, Commissioner Chauhan. Perhaps the larger kind of picture with the city. So the city does have a tree trimming program where the city, there's an entire city, and Public Works will go to different sections of the city during the right time to trim trees. And that time they kind of do an overview of trees. There are a lot of trees here in Cerritos. There are a lot. We pride ourselves in being, having that wonderful landscape. And so, to answer your question, there are cases where we have property owners where they have a project before, and we take this opportunity to ensure that their property is in compliance, and this would be an opportunity to have the tree added at this point, at this time in place. But city staff, we do our best to keep monitoring of trees through our daily site inspections that we go out on, that we go to, and this is an opportunity for the city to increase, our greenery that makes Cerritos, a unique place to live.
All right.
I just need some clarification from all the discussion that's going on. When is the resident responsible for paying for the replacement of the tree? Because from what the vice chair said, that if the city planted it, which the city did plant 90% of the trees in the city probably. So if the city planted it, put it there, and it was removed, is it the city's responsibility to pay and replace it? Because that's what Vice Chair was alluding to, but from the answer from Mr. Lowe was that any replacement will be the financial responsibility of the homeowner. So I just want to hear what the ordinance says, what our rule is for this, for clarification. Are the city paying for any of the trees they remove, or is it always, or both? I need some clarification.
Thank you, Chair Reyes. We will. We have our Assistant City Engineer, Jared Lee, here, who would be able to shed a little more insight onto this discussion.
I don't know all the specific details. I know what you're getting at. There are situations where the tree is dead, dying, or diseased, we remove it, and the city does put it back in. Okay, we do have that. This particular situation that you guys are talking about with the resident, tree's not there, I would have to look into it and talk to the tree superintendent. He would know the details on that, whether the resident's supposed to pay for it or not. I get it from a Cerritos resident perspective. It almost sounds unfair, but we'll just follow whatever rules are in the Cerritos Municipal Code. But I will follow up with the tree superintendent tomorrow, get you the right answer. That's the best I could do now.
Thank you. So it's a case-by-case basis. So there's no hard and fast rule. So we have to investigate, the situation of the tree. Why does it need to be replaced? Why does it have to be removed? And if so, who will pay? So there's no hard and fast rule on who's paying without investigating. That seems that's the answer to me.
That's right. I don't want to give you an answer
Yes,
right now.
yes.
But
All right.
yeah,
Thank you.
I will find that out.
Thank
for
you, staff.
And if any members of the public have any questions regarding their specific parkway trees, I would recommend them calling the Department of Public Works at 562-916-1220 to get clarification on that. And I know we've been having a robust discussion here, but for those specifics and for the public, that would be the best place to get that information.
Thank you so much, staff. Okay, Vice Chair.
So this looks like a stupid discussion that we are getting into. But just going on what Commissioner Chauhan had mentioned, that how come the city did not notice it all these years? So I guess I'm asking the city, is it like something like code enforcement? There are many instances where nothing is there, but then suddenly one day code enforcement will say, hey, this is wrong. But all these years, it was the same thing. I believe unless someone complains and the city comes and then city will say, okay, now you have to fix it. Is it something like this?
Thank you, Vice Chair Reyes. It's a great question. So the city has a robust code enforcement team, and a lot of times violations are noted and there's cases opened, and code enforcement goes through their normal process. There are times when they're noted in the property owner's file. So when perhaps the property owner was notified at some time, but there was no action. But when it comes time to development project or such, you have a precise plan before you. That is the opportunity to bring everything up to code at one time. So we take this opportunity to guide the homeowners toward that goal of full compliance.
Got it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, staff, and thank you, commissioners. And now I will open this for public comments. If they have, yes.
Chair, before we open it up for public comment, I would just like to note for the record that Commissioner Surti is now present. He came at the beginning of the presentation and he heard the full public hearing. He's able to participate in this matter.
Thank you, and welcome. So now I would like to open for public hearing. Do we have any speaker regarding item 6B, 6A, is it 6B, item 6B, A6A. 6A. Seeing none, I will close the public hearing section. Now I would like to request for staff recommendation.
Yes, thank you, Chair Reyes. Under agenda item number 6A, the Planning Commission is considering a request for review and consideration to waive full reading and adopt a resolution approving Precise Plan 2026-2. Again, a proposal for the residential construction of a first and second floor addition to an existing single-story residence at 11156 Gonzalez Place here in the city.
Thank you, staff. Now, commissioners, we do have a motion on the floor for recommendation in approving proposal, Precise Plan 2026-2. Do you have any motion?
I move to approve Precise Plan 2026-2.
Okay, it's been moved by Commissioner Al.
Seconded.
Second by Commissioner Chauhan. May I have electronic voting, please?
Okay, at this time, the electronic voting has been activated for the commission. And the motion to adopt approval for Precise Plan 2026-2 has been passed on a vote of 5-0. Thank you.
Thank you, commissioners, and congratulations to the applicants. And now we move to public hearing section 6B, review and consideration to waive full reading of and adopt a resolution of the Cerritos Planning Commission approving Precise Plan 2026-3, a proposal by the residential property owner to demolish an existing single-story residence and construct a new two-story residence with an attached two-car garage at 19310 Allingham Avenue, Cerritos, California, 90703. The subject property is zoned single-family residential. May I have a staff report, please?
Thank you, Chair Reyes and members of the commission. Tonight, under agenda item number 6B, as mentioned, is a consideration for Precise Plan 2026-3, another Precise Plan to consider this for a demolition of an existing single-story residence and the construction of a two-story residence with an attached garage. Under this item, the presentation by staff will be given by Associate Planner Wyman Wong, after which staff is available for answering questions as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kuna. Good evening, chairs and members of the Planning Commission. The property owners of 19310 Allingham Avenue are requesting approval of Precise Plan 2026-3 to demolish an existing single-story home and construct a new 3,494 square foot two-story residence with an attached 470 square foot two-car garage. In addition, the project proposes to construct a 383 square foot front terrace and 197 square foot balcony on the north and south sides of the home. For details of this project, I would like to direct your attention to the screen for presentation. This is an aerial photo of the subject property, which is generally located north of 195th Street and east of Studebaker Road. Further west of the subject property is Liberty Park. This is a large aerial view that shows the details of the property. The property is bordered on all sides by single-family homes. The subject property is bordered on the west by Allingham Avenue, across which are also single-family homes. This is a view of the front of the existing single-story home looking southeast from Allingham Avenue. This is a view of the subject property looking east. Here you can see the existing artificial turf, rocks, and residence, which will be demolished to accommodate the proposed project. This is a view of the rear yard of the subject property looking southwest from within the property. This is a proposed site plan showing the footprint of the new two-story home. As mentioned, the applicants are proposing to construct a new 3,494 square foot home with an attached 470 square foot two-car garage. As proposed, the project will meet all setback and lot coverage requirements. This is the adjacent neighbor plan. As shown on the plan, there is no direct alignment of windows from adjacent properties to the north, south, and east. In addition, the homeowners are proposing 2 balconies, one at the front of the residence, one at the side of the residence. It should be noted, however, that no privacy concerns are anticipated from the proposed balconies due to their design and placement relative to the surrounding properties. This is proposed first floor plan. When completed, the first floor will include a kitchen, family room, dining room, a living room, 3 bedrooms with bathrooms, a powder room, and a dedicated space for a washer and dryer. This is the proposed second floor plan. The new second floor will include a multipurpose room, 1 bedroom, 1 separate bathroom, a master bedroom with master bathroom, an office, a terrace, and balcony. This is the front elevation showing the terrace and balcony, which will be finished with a partial sections of beige-colored, smooth stucco and accentuated with natural-colored composition siding with black color railing to complement the architecture of the home. In addition, the Milgard bronze-colored windows will be 3-inch wide, 2-inch recessed, and the residence will have a dark brown fiberglass front door. This is proposed rear elevation. The residence will feature the same beige-colored smooth stucco and a new stucco band delineating the first floor from the second story. This is the north side elevation. As you can see, the home will feature building offsets and the roof will be covered with a brown slated colored concrete tile. This is the south side elevation, which features the same architectural enhancements found on the other elevations. The architect has prepared a color palette board for the Planning Commission review, which is provided for use on the dais. All exterior colors and materials will be subject to the approval of the Department of Community Development to ensure that these elements complement the entire house and surrounding homes. A notice of public hearing regarding this item was mailed to owners or property owners within 500 feet of the subject property on February 20th, 2026, at least 10 days prior to the public hearing this evening, as required by the Cerritos Municipal Code. Notices were also posted at the city's 4 designated posting boards on February 20th, 2026. The staff and all exhibits were posted on the city's website. In response to the public hearing notice for this project, planning staff received 1 comment from a resident that resides within the 500 feet of the subject property expressing concerns related to the loss of natural sunlight, potential privacy impact from the new 2-story residence, and the construction noise and disruption. In response to comments received related to the loss of natural sunlight, the new 2-story home is in compliance with all Cerritos Municipal Code requirements, including the height and setbacks. In addition, there are no direct alignments of windows with adjacent properties to the north, south, and east, and no privacy concerns are anticipated from the proposed balconies due to their design and placement relative to the surrounding properties. Furthermore, construction noise and disruption will adhere to Standard Condition Approval number 11 on construction hours for demolition, grading, and construction. This concludes the PowerPoint presentation. Staff recommends the Planning Commission approve Precise Plan 2020-6-3, subject to all conditions of approval contained in the report. This project is category exempt from CEQA review. Tonight, the developer and property owner are in the audience. At this time, staff is available to take any questions from the Planning Commission. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wong, for the presentation. Do you have any comment from the Commissioner? Commissioner Chauhan?
Thank you for addressing the written public comment and the statements that were in there. And again, going back to the conditions that are set forth for this particular project, it's along the same lines that we had with the tree. Removal of artificial turf and rocks in the front yard. So how long has this turf been there? And if so, how come we didn't notice it before?
Thank you, Commissioner Chauhan. I think to best answer that question may come from the property owners, whether it was there at the time they purchased or maybe they've installed it themselves. But as it relates to why the city may not have noticed the noncompliance for the artificial turf, I believe, as Ms. Chan mentioned in the last item, regarding in compliance with all municipal standards throughout the city does know through its code enforcement division when things arise and the city's made aware of at that time, but also through these processes like the precise plan review is also an assessment of the site to show whether it's compliant with current standards.
Any other comments? No. Following up on Commissioner Chauhan, what is the order? Just for our information, what's the ordinance regarding turf or artificial grass in the city?
Thank you, Chair Reyes. The city does allow artificial turf on front yard landscapes. A permit is required, and there are on the city's website, cerritos.gov/residential permits is where one can find the application, and it outlines all the requirements, including organic plant material and whatnot that would be required as part of that. And so that would be a great resource for anyone wishing to install artificial turf is to check out the application and those guidelines.
So for public service, if any homeowners would like to change their front yard, I guess, from natural grass to turf or rocks, they need permits from the city. Is that correct?
That's
That's
correct.
correct. Okay, thank you. Now we will move on. Public hearing. I will now open this. Oh, you have some more? Okay. Vice Chair?
So, as I understand, the artificial turf can only be in the backyard, not in the front.
Thank you, Vice Chair Javeri. There are only certain percentage restrictions within the front yard area for residential properties that limit the maximum percentage of turf that can be placed within the front yard area of a residential home. That certain percentage is not held to the same standards for the rear yard of the home.
And if I may add, this is Senior Planner Jeremy Lowe. Artificial turf is allowed in the front yard, only a certain percentage. Where it's not allowed is the public parkway area, the strip of landscaping in front of the sidewalk. So you can put it in your front yard up to a certain percentage, and then in the rear yard, you can go crazy with the artificial turf, put as much as you want.
Got it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Commissioner Al.
I want to thank you, Mr. Wang, for addressing the concerns that are brought up with that written correspondence. If you didn't, I was going to ask you about those. So it looks like the first concern about the sunshine. Do we know exactly where the property owner who wrote that message to you? Where exactly is that property in relationship to the subject property we're talking about here?
It's in the rear yard, third the back.
Adjacent to
But it's
the
on
rear.
the other. It's on the other street, right? So it's actually to the east of the subject property.
It would be right. It would be back here.
What?
Yeah.
So to the east.
Yes.
If it's to the east, then I think the blocking some of the afternoon sunlight from the west is actually beneficial. Provides more shade in a hot summer day. So Yeah, that's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, commissioners. Any more comments? Questions? None. So we will now move section 6B for public hearing. Do I have any speakers for public hearing? Seeing none, public hearing will be for item 6B to be duly closed. So staff recommendation again, Mr. Wong.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Chair Reyes and members of the commission. So again, under agenda item number 6B is a consideration for review for the waiving of the full reading and adoption of a resolution approving the precise plan 2026-3 in relation to a residential property owner's request to demolish an existing single-family residence and construct a new two-story residence with an attached two-car garage at 19310 Allingham Avenue. Again, this item is presented again for approval of precise plan 2026-3.
Thank you, staff. Now, commissioners, I would like to have a motion for the approval of precise plan 2026-3.
I make a motion to approve the precise plan 2026-3.
And I need a second.
I second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Chauhan and seconded by Vice Chair Javeri. If we can initiate electronic voting, please.
Okay, at this time, the electronic voting has been activated. If we can have all votes received by the commission. Thank you. Okay, and the motion to adopt and approve the precise plan 2026-3 has passed on a vote of 5-0. Thank you.
Thank you. Motion passed, and thank you, commissioners, and congratulations to the applicant. We now move to item 6C. This is review and consideration to waive full reading of and adopt a resolution of the Cerritos Planning Commission approving precise plan 2024-4 parentheses A 2026 amendment regarding modification to previously approved precise plan 2024-4, a proposal by the residential property owners to demolish an existing one-story residence and construct a new two-story residence at 19211 Bishard Avenue, Cerritos, California, 90703. The subject property is zoned single-family residential. Okay, may I have a staff report, please?
Thank you, Chair Reyes. Again, under agenda item number 6C is another request regarding a precise plan for a single-family residential property. However, this item before you is a request for modification to a previously approved precise plan that was brought before the commission back in 2024. Again, this is for a precise plan 2024-4, the First Amendment request as it relates to a residential property owner's request to demolish the existing one-story residence and to construct the two-story residence. Again, tonight is modifications to the previously approved precise plan. And under agenda item number 6C, presentation will be given again by Senior Planner Jeremy Lowe. Following staff is available to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Acuna. Good evening, Chair and Cerritos Planning Commissioners. As mentioned, the property owners of 19211 Bishard Avenue are proposing to modify a previously approved precise plan 2024-4 for a new two-story residence that is currently under construction. Specifically, the modifications consist of adding 122 square feet to the second floor and expanding the second floor balcony by 243 square feet. For further details of this project, I would like to direct your attention to the screen for a presentation. This is an aerial photo of the subject property, which is generally located east of Bloomfield Avenue and south of South Street. The subject property is zoned single-family residential, RS 6500. This is an enlarged aerial that shows the details of the subject property. The subject property is bordered on the north, west, and south by single-family homes. A subject property is bordered on the east by Bouchard Avenue, across which are also single-family homes. Do note that this is an older aerial. The house pictured has since been demolished and a new house is currently under construction. This is a view of the front of the new two-story residence currently under construction, looking southwest from Bouchard Avenue. This is a view of the front of the subject property looking west from Bouchard Avenue. As part of the previous approval, project-specific condition of approval 42 conditions the applicants, in coordination with Southern California Edison, to relocate the existing electric utility line underground in lieu of the overhead lines seen here. Also, as part of the previous approval, a public sidewalk and parkway with one parkway tree will continue to be required pursuant to city standards, with appropriate sidewalk/easement dedication to the city of Cerritos. Project-specific conditions of approval 43 and 44 will remain in effect to ensure compliance with these requirements. This is a view of the rear of the residence looking west from the patio area, showing the previous unpermitted shed has been removed pursuant to Planning Commission approval. This is a view of the rear of the new residence currently under construction, looking east from the rear property line. This is the previously approved site plan under Precise Plan 2024-4. On June 5th, 2024, the Planning Commission considered and approved the Precise Plan to demolish the existing residence on the subject property and to construct a new 5,674 square foot two-story residence and 734 square foot three-car garage. The previous approved plans, showed that when completed, the residence will have 2,916 square feet on the first floor and 2,758 square feet on the second floor, as well as a 734 square foot attached three-car garage. At this time, the applicant is requesting approval of modifications to the Precise Plan to the proposed second floor massing and silhouette. Specifically, the applicant is proposing to add 122 square feet to the second floor and 243 square feet to the balcony of the previously approved new two-story residence. As proposed, the project will still meet all setback and lot coverage requirements. This is the previously approved first floor plan, which included an entry foyer, living room, office, kitchen, dining room, family room, pantry, powder room, guest bedroom with bathroom, elevator, and theater. This is the proposed modification to the first floor plan, which is largely unchanged apart from an expansion of the covered patio, shown in red. Upon completion, the first floor will include all of the same living spaces as previously approved. This is the previously approved second floor plan, which included a master bedroom with master bathroom and walk-in closet, 3 bedrooms with bathrooms, an office, a laundry room, a prayer room, an elevator, and a storage closet. This is the proposed modification to the second floor plan. Upon completion, the second floor will include all of the same living spaces as previously approved. However, the proposed change shifts bedroom number 4's bathroom and closet, resulting in a larger bedroom and loft area, plus an expansion of the balcony area to the north and west. The bathroom addition area is shown here in blue, and the balcony extension is shown here in red. This is the proposed roof plan. Circled in red are the modifications to the roof plan as a result of the proposed bathroom addition and expansion of the balcony area. The roof over the bathroom addition will be integrated into the previously approved roof line, while the flat roof over the balcony will be extended to the westerly edge of the expanded balcony. The roof over the balcony will not extend to the north. This is the adjacent neighbor plan, which shows the location of the modified second-story windows on the subject property and their relationship to existing windows on adjacent properties. Previously, project-specific condition of approval 45 was added to require the applicant to either shift a master bedroom window out of alignment with the neighboring second-floor window, or to remove the window. The construction plans, which were approved and issued, revised the window in the master bedroom to be out of alignment with the neighboring second-floor window, thus satisfying the condition of approval. Therefore, at this time, there are no direct alignment of windows with adjacent properties. This is the proposed front elevation. There are no modifications to the front elevation being proposed. The architectural style of the residence will continue to be of a modern design, and the front elevation will feature gray-colored stone cladding and gray-colored smooth stucco. The front elevation will also feature balconies accentuated with natural-colored 4-inch hardwood tongue and groove boards. The main entry and front elevation will also feature dark gray fiberglass entry doors and large vertical windows allowing for greater natural daylight. This is the previously approved rear elevation, which included the roof of the residence being covered with a charcoal blend colored concrete tile and skylights to be installed above the second floor, maximizing the use of natural daylight to illuminate interior spaces. Note in the center the previously approved balcony area. This is the proposed modification to the rear elevation. The roof of the residence will continue to be covered with a charcoal blend colored concrete tile. The proposed bathroom addition will also be clad in the same gray colored stone, and the expanded balcony will be clad with the same natural colored hardwood boards. Note how it's further to the left, or extends further to the left, which is north. This is the previously approved north side elevation, which included the same architectural elements of gray colored stone cladding, gray colored smooth stucco, and balconies accentuated with natural colored hardwood tongue and groove boards. The residence was originally designed with building offsets to break up the mass of the larger home, and incorporates the simplicity of modern architectural lines on all 4 elevations. This is the proposed modification to the north side elevation. The new bathroom addition will be clad in same gray colored stone, and the expanded balcony will be clad with the same natural colored hardwood boards. Note that it's visible here. The residence will continue to have building offsets to break up the building massing. This is the proposed south side elevation. There are no proposed modifications on this elevation at this time. The architect has prepared a color palette and material board for the Planning Commission's review, which is provided for you at the dais. All exterior colors and materials will be subject to the approval of the Department of Community Development to ensure that these elements complement the entire house and surrounding homes. A notice of public hearing regarding this item was mailed to owners of property within 500 feet of the subject property on February 20th, 2026, at least 10 days prior to the public hearing this evening, as required by the Cerritos Municipal Code. Notices were also posted at the city's 4 designated posting boards on February 20th, 2026. The staff report and all exhibits were posted on the city's website as well. This concludes the PowerPoint presentation. Staff recommends that the Planning Commission approve Precise Plan 2024-4A 2026 amendment, subject to all conditions of approval contained in the report. This project is categorically exempt from California Environmental Quality Act review. To date, staff has not received any public comments regarding the proposed project. The designer and property owners are in the audience, and staff is happy to answer any questions that the Planning Commission may have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lowe. And now open this hearing for comments or questions from the commissioners. Commissioner Chauhan.
So, Jeremy, piggyback off the very first project we looked at, why is this not considered a JDU? And if it's an ADU, will it have separate utilities?
Yeah, so the state of California housing law has certain definitions for junior ADUs and ADUs proper. As mentioned previously on Gonsalves Place, a junior ADU is a conversion of existing square footage, which allows for a kitchenette and a maximum square footage of 500 square feet. An accessory dwelling unit or an ADU can be larger and have a full kitchen or a larger kitchen. So there are definitions in California Building Code differentiating kitchenettes versus full kitchens. So really the difference is in square footage. A full-size ADU can also be attached. In the instant case, it is attached, not detached, and is larger than 500 square feet. And so it is a fully fledged ADU. Again, there are some nuances because it is an ADU. It can have its own address, which could be 19211 Bishart Avenue, Unit A. And if they request a separate address, it can have its own meters and utility connections. So that'll be the up to the applicant to request. And if it is if they do request the meters and full-on utility connections, again, they'll have separate, billing. So it could be beneficial if they intend to ever rent it out or anything like that. Because it is a separate unit, technically a discrete unit, which could have its own address, even though it's attached, it is considered a separate unit. And so there are certain separation requirements, like the walls need to be rated for a certain type of fire rating. So think of it like a duplex. So if, God forbid, the kitchen, there's a fire, there's at least a 1 hour for the wall to burn, and that gives time for first responders to come. So it's a bit more stricter, the construction requirements for an ADU.
Will it require its own power outlet? I mean, will the utility have to run a separate line for the ADU?
So it is not required, but they can request a separate address, at which point they can get a separate meter. They can't request a separate meter or connection without a separate address.
Any more comment? Commissioner Surdy.
My only concern about when you have ADUs and is parking, how many parking spots are allotted for this resident?
So for a residence of this size, per the City of Cerritos Municipal Code, they are required to provide 3 off-street parking spaces in a garage. California state law does indicate that for an ADU, cities may request an additional parking space, but it doesn't have to be in a garage. They could just designate an area on their driveway as ADU parking. Additionally, if they are within a certain amount of a transit stop, they are not required to provide said parking space. And it's a quarter mile, that distance.
And how many people are allowed to live in an ADU?
There is no technically a restriction on how many people can live in an ADU. It is considered a dwelling according to California state law. So, a family can live in there, however many people can live in there comfortably.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Surdy. Any more? Vice Chair.
So in case of ADU, if it is attached or detached, and say if it's a separate unit, if it is attached, would they have a separate property tax?
No, so the ADU is technically still part of the property. It's think of it like a duplex on one lot. Generally speaking, they are not sold separately or under separate ownership, though there are state laws which do potentially allow for that if a city allows for that, in which case the City of Cerritos currently does not.
So even if they have a separate unit, as you mentioned, so they can order us, like they can ask for a separate unit, separate address. In that case, would that unit have a separate property tax, or it's still part of the main?
So no, there would still be only one property owner. There would be 2 utility bills, water, electrical, whatever. There would be 2 bills, but they all go technically to the same person. And then the property tax for the property would potentially be increased or reassessed based on whatever the Los Angeles County Assessor's Office assesses ADUs or units at, but it does not get its own property tax bill.
Very good. Good to know. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Do I have any more questions, comments? Seeing none, I will now open this for public hearing. Any comments from the public? Seeing none, I will close the public hearing. Again, if you can give us your staff recommendation again for item 6C.
Yes, thank you, Chair Reyes. Under agenda item number 6C is a review and consideration of waive full reading and adopt a resolution approving precise plan 2024-4 amendment A 2026 regarding modifications to a previously approved precise plan for the property at 19211 Bouchard Avenue.
Thank you, staff. I now have a request for approval for a motion for precise plan 2024-4A 2026.
I make a motion.
Yeah, Vice Chair Javeri had a motion. Need a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Al. May we initiate the voting, please?
Thank you. At this time, we'll activate the electronic voting for this item. And all votes have been received, and the motion to adopt the approval of the modifications to the precise plan has passed on a vote to 5-0. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners, and congratulations to the applicant. We now move to item 6D. This is review and consideration to waive full, off, and adopt a resolution of the Cerritos Planning Commission recommending that the City of Cerritos, that the Cerritos City Council approve Development Code Amendment 2026-2, a request to amend Title 5 and Title 22 of the Cerritos Municipal Code by amending Chapter 5.35 and adding Section 22.40.340 to prohibit the sale, distribution, possession, and consumption of nitrous oxide in the City of Cerritos. Staff?
Yes, thank you, Chair Reyes and members of the commission. Tonight's last item under public hearing, again, as mentioned, is a request for the Planning Commission's consideration for a recommendation to the City Council involving a development code amendments relating to amendments, again, to Title 5 and Title 22 of the city's municipal code relating to the prohibition of the sale and distribution and possession and consumption of nitrous oxide within the city. Tonight's presentation under this item will be given by Mariel Angeles, Management Analyst. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Acuna. Good evening, Chair and members of the Planning Commission. At the January 12, 2026 City Council meeting, the City Council directed staff to provide a direction related to the regulation of nitrous oxide in the City of Cerritos. In response to such direction, before you this evening for review and consideration is Development Code Amendment 2026-2, a request to amend Title 5 and Title 22 of the Cerritos Municipal Code to prohibit the sale, distribution, possession, and consumption of nitrous oxide for recreational purposes in the City of Cerritos. At this time, please direct your attention to the screen for my presentation. Nitrous oxide is a colorless, non-flammable gas commonly referred to as laughing gas. It has several legitimate and lawful uses, including as an anesthetic in medical and dental procedures, as well as in culinary, industrial, and automotive applications. Over the past several years, the use of nitrous oxide for recreational inhalation has resulted in heightened concerns about public health, safety, and environmental impacts, and has become increasingly popular as an inhalant among individuals 20 to 39 years of age due to the ease of accessibility, leading to an increase in emergency responses related to nitrous oxide misuse. In light of growing public health and safety concerns, efforts are being initiated to regulate the use and accessibility of nitrous oxide products. Under the existing state legislation, California Penal Code Section 381B addresses that possession of nitrous oxide or any substance containing nitrous oxide with the intent to inhale for purposes of intoxication constitutes as a misdemeanor offense. Recently, during the 2025 to 2026 state legislative session, 2 Senate bills have been introduced to address the increasing misuse of nitrous oxide while preserving its legitimate uses in certain industries. Senate Bill 758, introduced in February 2025, would prohibit the sale of nitrous oxide at certain retail locations under the state's tobacco retail licensing framework. This bill has passed the Senate and is currently under consideration by the Assembly. Senate Bill 936, introduced in January 2026, would prohibit the sale and distribution of specific nitrous oxide products commonly associated with misuse, amending the California Penal Code to ban large capacity containers, flavored products, and devices designed for direct inhalation from a container. This bill is currently under consideration by the Senate. As part of staff's research, another city survey was conducted, and 14 local cities have adopted ordinances prohibiting the sale or distribution of nitrous oxide for recreational use, with exceptions provided for legitimate applications, or enacted targeted prohibitions aimed at restricting sales at smoke shops or limiting retail access for recreational purposes. In response to recent information regarding increasing recreational misuse of nitrous oxide and the localized public health concerns, at the January 12, 2026 City Council meeting, the City Council directed staff to prepare a development code amendment that would prohibit the sale, distribution, consumption, and possession of nitrous oxide for recreational uses within the city. The City Municipal Code does not currently contain specific regulations related to the retail sale or distribution of nitrous oxide products. The city does, however, maintain codified regulations for specifically prohibiting the retail sale or distribution of other substances and products such as marijuana or medical marijuana and electronic cigarettes. Section 22.40.300 of the Cerritos Municipal Code prohibits marijuana or medical marijuana dispensaries, cultivation of more than 6 plants, deliveries, and commercial marijuana or medical marijuana uses. Sections 22.40.320 and Section 5.35.055C of the Cerritos Municipal Code prohibits the sale of electronic cigarettes, including vape and other associated paraphernalia. As there are no existing code regulations for nitrous oxide, it limits the city's ability to address comments and concerns related to nitrous oxide. As such, the existing Cerritos Municipal Code framework helps to establish a foundation for the proposed code modifications prohibiting nitrous oxide. Development Code Amendment 2026-2 proposes to amend Title V, Business Regulations and Licenses, and Title 22, Development Plan of the Cerritos Municipal Code to prohibit the sale, distribution, possession, and consumption of nitrous oxide for recreational purposes within the city. Development Code Amendment 2026-2 also proposes to add a new section to Title 22 to effectively prohibit the sale, distribution, consumption, and/or possession of nitrous oxide. Additionally, as tobacco retailers are more likely to vend nitrous oxide products, amendments to the Cerritos Municipal Code can help to establish regulations to proactively prohibit the sale of nitrous oxide. Amendments to Section 5.35.010 and Section 5.35.055 of the Cerritos Municipal Code are proposed to proactively regulate retailers with a tobacco retail license, prohibiting them from the sale of nitrous oxide. While the proposed code amendments prohibit the sale of nitrous oxide, it does allow for exceptions for legitimate uses in the following circumstances: when nitrous oxide is contained in a food product for use as a propellant, when sold, advertised, offered for sale, distributed, or otherwise provided in wholesale capacity for enhancing vehicle performance, for medical or dental care under the supervision of a state licensed medical or dental practitioner, or provided by a state licensed pharmacist or a wholesaler licensed by the California State Board of Pharmacy and/or other circumstances exempted under state law. A public hearing notice for the proposed amendment was published in the Los Cerritos Community News, as well as posted on the city's 4 designated posting boards, at least 20 days prior to the public hearing. The proposed code amendment is consistent with the goals and policies within the city's general plan, specifically the community design element, land use element, and safety element. By establishing Development Code Amendment 2026-2, the city will be able to amend the Cerritos Municipal Code to ensure the health and safety impacts to the Cerritos community that may be generated from the recreational use of nitrous oxide are minimized. This proposed amendment is being presented to the Planning Commission for consideration, and if approved this evening, is tentatively scheduled to be presented to the City Council for consideration on March 23, 2026. If approved by the City Council on March 23rd, the proposed amendment will be presented to the City Council on April 13th for second reading and adoption, with implementation beginning May 13th, 2026. Staff recommends that the Planning Commission review and discuss the proposed entitlement, conduct a public hearing, waive full reading of and adopt a resolution recommending that the City Council approve Development Code Amendment 2026-2 to amend the Cerritos Municipal Code to prohibit the sale, distribution, possession, and consumption of nitrous oxide for recreational uses in the city of Cerritos while allowing for legitimate uses to remain. And that concludes my presentation. At this time, staff is available to answer any questions the commissioners may have.
Thank you, Ms. Angeles. Do you have any staff comment, question? Commissioner Chauhan.
Couple of questions. How many tobacco retail establishments do we have in the city?
Thank you, Commissioner Chauhan. To date, the city has a total of 15 active tobacco retailer licenses. And those, so every city in the city of Cerritos is required to have a business license. If the business chooses to vend tobacco or tobacco-related products, they are required to obtain a tobacco retailer's license.
And how many liquor stores do we have?
The city has 5 active business licenses for liquor stores.
Do we have any data of how many adults within Cerritos have experienced this nitrous oxide episodes?
Thank you, Commissioner Chauhan. Staff, as part of staff's research, we did reach out to the Cerritos Sheriff's Station to ask about any concerns. And so it was reported that no nitrous oxide incidences have been reported in terms of an emergency at this time, but we do know it's a countywide epidemic. But specific to the sheriff's station, there have been no reported cases.
Now, I'm aware of juveniles doing this, but in this case, this report is very specifically targeting 20 to 39-year-olds. So it seems to be very much an adult problem. Do we regulate adults in using substances that they should not?
Thank you, Commissioner Chauhan. So tonight's code amendment is related more towards the commercial sale rather than the personal use. I think I would defer to the California Penal Code for related to use of nitrous oxide with intent of intoxication.
Commissioner, I would just add that the age range of 20 to 39 comes from the CDC report that found that it's increasingly prevalent among that demographic, and that's one of the motivations for looking at this code amendment. But there's a variety of other motivations, and that's just one of them. So this isn't really targeted at any particular age group.
And the reason I say that is that nitrous oxide was a problem when I was a teenager, and that's beyond that age range. So what happens is that many times these things are cyclical. You go through a phase of using one product, go into a different product, then here we are back in the cycle of nitrous oxide again. What perturbs me in this report is that it says consumption within the city. I think one of the lines actually says the intent of this ordinance. If it's sale, it's one thing. If it's consumption, Now we're straying into areas of constitutionality, of personal freedom. So I have a problem when it starts to veer in that area. As far as sale and consumption on city properties or public places, that's fine. Where do we draw the line as far as residents are concerned?
Thank you, Commissioner, and I understand the concerns you may have with regards to consumption of nitrous oxide, but I will refer to Penal Code Section 381B, where the California State Legislature itself has defined, and I'm just going to read the language, not only possession, but also the intent to breathe, inhale, ingest for the purposes causing intoxication, elation, euphoria, and a variety of other conditions. And so this is really a choice that has been made by the legislature to restrict consumption, and this prohibition is sort of going to bring it more in line with what state law already has as a crime.
And if so, who will enforce these rules?
Thank you, Commissioner. So as part of the development code, there's a variety of enforcement mechanisms that will be there, whether it's criminal prosecution, it will be classified as a public nuisance, so the city attorney's office will be able to bring enforcement proceedings, code enforcement, there's just a variety, administrative proceedings as well.
Thank you.
Any commissioners have any questions? Vice Chair Echeverry?
So I think to answer Commissioner Chavan, I think we as city can only do so much as to regulate whether we can have the sale or we stop the sale. But if someone wants to consume, they can buy it from anywhere, from any of our neighbors, neighboring cities, or from anywhere, bring it home and consume it. So we can't regulate that. We can only do so much, I guess.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Let me go back to the comment regarding the sheriff's report. And the sheriff, they said there's no incident of a nitrous oxide incident. I would imagine this was also in the venue of the county fire or paramedic if they have to have some incident like this. So does the paramedic or the fire share their emergency responses with the sheriffs, or?
Thank you, Chair Reyes, for that question. You are correct in terms of 911 calls. We are unaware of incidences due to this, but that doesn't exclude if someone, there's an incident in a house and, someone is there with them and they'll take them directly to the ER. So we do not know of those cases. We do not have, I would say, specific paramedic information. I can look into that to see if that would be available. But directly with the sheriffs.
Yeah, I think that would be more comprehensive because it's more of that. That's who's going to respond is probably the paramedic or county fire rather than the sheriff if we have an incident. Thank you so much. Commissioner Surtee.
I just wanted to, I guess, the legal requirements. What are the legal ways to purchase this? Okay, and can you clarify that a little bit more? And also, tell me about who's licensed to be able to sell this.
Thank you, Commissioner Surtee. So the proposed code amendment does allow. So there are legal applications for use of this, whether a dental anesthetic or medical spaces, and so the proposed code amendment does allow, for example, whipped cream. The can does contain that aerosol. And so in those cases, the city has provided exceptions and to allow for that. So instances where food product is sold or for a wholesale distribution capacity, medical uses, vehicle enhancement performance, or is otherwise exempted by state law. So we did ensure that if there is a legitimate application, that has been provided an exemption.
So what we're saying, we're restricting the inhalation for recreational purposes. That's the goal here, right?
Thank you, Commissioner Surtee. So yes, the target, the main goal of this is, I would say, a health concern related to misuse for the younger, the youth, or just the general public. The intent is to reduce the ability for individuals to purchase it, at a business for recreational use in the interest of public health.
Okay. I mean, is there, I guess what I'm trying to figure out is that, is there any downside for a business like we're talking about for medical purposes or for automotive purposes? They're allowed to purchase these things. Am I correct?
Correct. They would not be impacted under these
Okay,
circumstances.
that's it. Okay.
Commissioner, I would just add that a variety of other cities, years before our city, have enacted similar bans, and all of them include exceptions for things like medical purposes, dental purposes. Pharmacists are also another one. If they have to dispense it as part of their duty, there's a specific exemption that's going to be built into the code for that as well.
And food services too,
Correct, yes.
because there are some unique tools out there where they aerate products and then bake them afterwards. But that's one of the other big uses for nitrous oxide.
Thank you, commissioners. Do I have any more questions, comments? Seeing none, I will move this hearing to we'll open this hearing for public comments. Where did I go? Seeing none, I will now close the public hearing for 6D. Again, if we can give us Ms. Angeles the staff recommendation, please, or whoever.
Yes, thank you, Chair Reyes. Tonight under agenda item 6D is a consideration and review for a waive of a full reading of a resolution of the Cerritos Planning Commission recommending that the Cerritos City Council approve Development Code Amendment 2026-2 relating to the prohibition, sales, distribution, possession, and consumption of nitrous oxide within the city.
Thank you, Ms. Acuna. Commissioners, we now have before us a request for the approval of Development Code Amendment 2026-2. Do I have a motion for approval, please?
I make a motion.
I have a motion from Vice Chair Javeri
Second.
and second for Commissioner Al. Can we initiate the electronic voting, please?
For clarification, the motion was made for the adoption of a resolution by the commission recommending approval by the city council for under the development code amendment. Thank you. And then at this time, yes, electronic voting is active. And the motion passes 5-0. Thank you.
Thank you. We now move to item 7A, reports from commission liaison. Do I have any staff, designated commission staff liaison report?
Yes, thank you, Chair. Under my item tonight, I would like to note one item before there was a comment received as it relates to agenda item 4A by a member of the public, and it was provided for the record. I do want to note that for tonight, that public comment was received by the Planning Commission tonight and made available to members of those in attendance. Again, it's in relation to agenda item number 4A tonight. I'll read it aloud for the record. It's in a comment from a resident requesting information about the Cerritos Kia dealership remodel that was approved by the Planning Commission and City Council, and a request for any information regarding its remodel and moving forward, or has it been canceled? And I'll quickly note on that the project referenced by the resident within the comment is in reference to a remodel that was presented to the Planning Commission and to the City Council back in 2023 that was adopted for those modifications to the existing dealership. Staff can share that plans are under review for the construction of those remodels. And at this time, that ends my reporting. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Acucha. Now we will move to reports from Planning Commission members. Do we have any Any reports? Commissioner Chauhan?
Just one, thank you to the staff for having this great water lantern festival yesterday. It was well attended. I went there late, and there were still people lined up at 7:30 trying to send their little lanterns down the little river. Thank you.
Okay, just a quick announcement. We are having a paper shredding and compost event. This is for Saturday, March 14, from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. Paper shredding and compost. This is at the Cerritos Senior Center from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. So if you can bring up to 2 banker-sized boxes of paper documents, and for compost, you can receive no more than 2 rigid 35-gallon containers, which will be filled on site by Athens Services. So if you have paper to shred, or would you need some compost, show up at the Cerritos Senior Center on Saturday, March 14th, from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. That's all I have. So thank you, staff. Thank you, commissioners. I will now declare the City of Cerritos Planning Commission meeting of Wednesday, March 4, 2026 adjourned. Thank you.